Hi, good morning, everybody. One thing is always spoken that anything that you want to have in your life, a kind of experience that you want to have in your life, that needs devotion, that needs perspiration. Anything you want to have a good communication power, you want to have a good lifestyle, you want to have a good physique, everything that needs time, persistence, and devotion, and then dedication. So, exactly what you sent out that automatically comes back to you. So anything that you're spending your time with, if you're giving your time towards making something beautiful, I'm 1000% sure the repercussion will be perfect, because the action that was sent towards the direction of the repercussion, that was beautiful. So anything you want to do in a proper way, that can be in your education, that can be anything that needs your devotion, right? Devotion is something that is really needed. Like, I'm talking about literature. I'm talking about the importance of literature in the life of yours. So, as I told you earlier, that literature is such a subject that needs your sensible humor, that needs your sensibility, that needs your internal connectedness with the subject. If you're not connect with the subject, and if you're studying this subject for acquiring the materialistic affluences through this particular subject, by acquiring the practicalism of literature, you might get what you really want to get. But if you have observed in a proper manner, if you've observed to get something in literature, there are few things that you need to understand. The first one is, which is something which is very important, and that is, you have to go through the ages of literature. If I tell you one particular writer, suppose I tell you uh, John Keats, then you need to understand from which age this writer belongs to. John Keats is a romantic writer, sorry. So you need to understand that romantic age, when does that get initiated? And what are the other contemporary writers? So these are the very important things that any writer, if I tell you, there may be thousands of, literary figures, you need to understand from this age this writer belongs to. And especially there are at least 10 works. There are so many writers, they have not yet exactly written more than 10 things. Maybe it might have, because in Anglo-Saxon, if you go through the writers, uh, they have not written more books exactly. But most of the writers, they have written more than 40, 50 things. Like John Keats, he hasn't yet written more things, but whatever he has left behind is so beautiful and amazing. Because in most of the books, most of the poems, he talks about the state music of humanity, of course. So basically, any writer you see in literature book, or in any history of English literature book, if you have given the interest of being the good student of literature, you need to understand from this age this writer belongs to, the few information, a bit of information about his literary figures, from where he has got his education, his tutor who gave him the interest of literature, and at least 10 book which a particular writer has written. That is why in the second video of mine I was talking about that you need to, second or third video, sorry. In the third video of mine I was talking about you need to have a diary in which you first attach, attach the face of the writer, and then write down the works and a bit of information about him. Suppose you have a bigger diary, and you have written more than 1,000 writers. Think about it. Isn't that is going to help you for the preparation of your NET? Because whatever you're going to study, if you give your heart to the subject, it is said now, when there is heart and there is being in your words, the emphasis that comes on its own. That is something which is very important. So, whatever you're going to study, give your heart to the particular subject. If the heart of yours that has been imbued in the subject, the result is going to be something to believe upon your eyes. That is the most important thing. So, what I told you, that needs to be done. If at least one particular student, if he or she is going to listen and then follow this in his education, in his life, it's going to be my the purpose behind making this video, that is getting fulfilled. So one thing is very important. You need to have the basic information about the elements of the particular age. If I'm talking about Anglo-Saxon period, then you need to understand who was Anglo, who was Saxon, and then who was Jute. If I'm talking about Anglo-normal period, then you need to understand how this period came into existence. There are few things which is very important, that how the Anglo-Saxon period, how that has happened. Okay, what are the dialects of what are the dialects of Saxon and Anglo, of course. So basically, this is something which is very important. The basic information about the particular age that determines your interest towards literature. That is very important. Okay, so this is something that I'm going to talk about. The biographical elements of the particular age. Whenever you read literature, you need to have the at least the short information about the historical background. If I'm talking about romantic age, then you need to understand what is the historical background, right? One more thing which is very important, which I have given a lot of time to explore and I have given a lot of time to understand about this. Today, if I tell you, where does Shakespeare and where does any literary figure, if definitely I'm talking about Indian English writers, so my favorite is R.K. Narayan, right? So where does R.K. Narayan exist within you? One thing I'm telling you, maybe that will take a bit of time, but today I'm going to tell you that every writer that lives in your consciousness, that lives in your state, you have read Shakespearean age, but the moment your state has been submerged with the Shakespearean state, you shall be able to devour the particular age everywhere. That's what it happens if you have initiated a lot of classical movies. You initiate absorbing classism outside of the world. Similarly, this is something which is very important, that what I was talking about. These few steps, if these steps are taken, that will be truly helpful for your literary career, and that is going to be so amazing in your future as well. So thank you very much, guys, for this video, for watching this video, of course. So the main points I have just talked about, that attach the figure of the character, write down the works of the particular writers and the age, in which age that date the particular book has been mentioned. So in some of the videos, of course, in further videos, I shall be discussing in a very, uh, easy way, very thoroughly way, that you won't be able to have any confusions regarding your literary doubts, of course, and you shall be capable of acquiring the positive vibes of literature. Because one thing that I just spoke about, that anything you study that reflects your life, there is no doubt about it that if you have studied literature for acquiring the physicality of your life, you shall be able to doing it. But if you have studied literature, that is too going to happen. So give time for this, and start loving literature. And what I always talk about, uh, be the literature. No need to read it, just be it. The moment you have become literature, you have submerged yourself with that uh, inner joy that can be experienced through your life as well. So, thank you very much, everybody.